seen Costa Chandros here at the Knox Entertainment Complex come up with some very good victories. Does have good power in the tail of the tape. Well, that is going to work to the advantage of Simon Patterson, because he's going to enjoy an edge in reach of some 3 inches in the old language, or 7 centimetres in reach. And Simon Patterson will be the taller of the two as well, at 185 centimetres opposed to Chandros's 177. And Patterson just a little heavier of the two, although the cruiserweight limit 86.18, there isn't a lot of difference between the two. Here is Simon Patterson. He comes to the ring with a very good amateur record of 78 wins, 16 defeats, Australian champion and also a 3-time New South Wales champion as well. And he has Bruce Farthing in his corner. Does such an excellent job out of the Woolloomooloo PCYC in Sydney. Will know that he will be well skilled for this, Barry.
Undoubtedly, Johnny. Simon actually approached me before the fight and introduced himself. I've never met him before, but he seems like an absolute gentleman. And he has got a very, very impressive amateur career. 94 fights now. Whether you want to believe, you know, fights are fights. I mean, that's a lot of experience. Costa Chandros is a real good prospect, but he's only had three fights, 3 professional fights, the 3 knockout wins. You know, he's got a big future in front of him, but I tell you, I feel as though it's a step up for Simon Patterson, for Costa Chandros against Simon Patterson, even though it is Simon Patterson's pro debut. He's got such a distinguished amateur record.
This is Costa Chandros, very popular man in this neck of the woods. Training with Murray Thomson at the Fighters Factory in Blackburn. And we know that there are a lot of viewers out there who support the Fighters Factory, continue to do so, because they are making things happen here in Victorian boxing. So let's get the official introductions. Here is Mr. Terry Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cruiserweight bout set to go over 6 3-minute rounds. In the red corner, trained by Murray Thomson at the Fighters Factory, Blackburn. A big puncher, ladies and gentlemen, from 4 fights, 3 wins, all by KO, and just the 1 loss, Costa Chandros. Tonight, his opponent has represented Australia approximately 30 times. He's a former Australian champion, 3-time New South Wales heavyweight champ in the amateur ranks. On professional debut, Simon Patterson.
Costa Chandros, his amateur record, 8-2 with 6 KOs. So his amateur record, while not as lengthy as that of Simon Patterson, gives you the impression that this is going to be a very interesting matchup. And one thing we know for sure is that Simon Patterson won't have to go looking for Costa Chandros. A shorter man, he'll be coming in trying to make the fight.
Good luck to both of you.
It should be a good competitive contrast between the two.
Chandros, you know, nuggety, powerful fighter who puts combinations together well and has got power in both hands, as you can see by the knockouts that he's had. But Simon Patterson, the man with, you know, an incredible amateur career, 30 times he's represented the country. It's a great deal of experience, international experience.
Making his debut at 27 years of age, Chandros 24 years of age. Chandros fought Paul Murdoch back in September last year at this venue. Lost in the 3rd round after both eyes were almost closed over. It was a very brutal fight, but Costa Chandros refused to go down. He's a very tough customer, and he appears to be fully focused here. It's not dissimilar to Adrian Bellin in terms of his physique. Adrian Bellin will see a little bit later, fighting for the light heavyweight championship of Australia. But at cruiserweight level, we're underway. It's scheduled for 6. Costa Chandros is in the red trunks. Simon Patterson is in the grey with blue piping. And straight away, Chandros is right, trying to get in close there against Simon Patterson.
Patterson leads with that long left jab. He's using the ring more. Chandros is trying to cut the ring off and follow him around. Get up close. Ooh.
Well, certainly Simon Patterson's going to need to keep his right hand up very high indeed. Left hook from Costa Chandros is a very effective weapon for him.
He's got a very nice, educated left hand, Simon Patterson.
Very composed in the ring. Certainly doesn't appear to have first night butterflies.
No, I guess, look, it's just another night to him, really. Even though it's his pro debut, he's had so many 94 amateur fights. It's just another fight. except tonight he'll get paid.
That always makes it a little more worthwhile. Just taking his time here to settle in Simon Patterson.
Chandros goes underneath with the rip of the body, which didn't land cleanly, and follows with a hook to the head, which Patterson avoided well as well. Patterson looking composed at the moment. Chandros bobbing and weaving well, trying to get inside.
Yes, he appears to be very well balanced indeed, Simon Patterson. And Chandros is going to have to be right on his game as well.
Good combination again by Patterson. Avoided Chandros' punches fairly well there. Nice jab.
Just with that, making good use of that edge in reach. 7 centimetres in favour of Simon Patterson. And he's also some 8 centimetres taller. And he's making that work to good effect to his advantage at the moment.
Chandros needs to get inside that very good left hand of Patterson's and work up close to the body and then come over with the headshots. At the moment, he's being caught at the end of the jab too much. Patterson looking pretty composed here, you know, winning the first round fairly comfortably at this stage. Good rip there, maybe a fraction low.
Right, don't punch, don't punch,
Chandros.
don't punch, step back. Step back.
Referee Jim Slatter with the instructions there inside the last 40 seconds. Round number 1 for these cruiserweights. 86.18 kilos the limit, or 13 stone 8 in the old money. And Simon Patterson is making a good fist of his professional debut here against Costa Chandros, a man who has already won 3 fights by way of knockout.
A couple of good shots there by Chandros just as we come up to the bell for round 1. Yeah, Chandros putting the pressure on. But coming up towards the end of the first round.
Certainly Chandros is showing a great deal of respect for Simon Patterson. There's a good reason for that, because he just wasn't able to get anything happening there. He had to be a little defensive to keep Simon Patterson at bay.
Yeah, you'd have to say that Simon Patterson edged the points in the first round with that classic left-hand display of boxing.
Murray Thomson there speaking with Costa Chandros, and we also saw in the red corner Simon Patterson with Renato Cornet helping out Bruce Farthing there. Renato Cornet having fought for the world title last year, now has retired, but what a tremendous boxer he was. Went to the Olympic Games for Australia as well. But at the moment we're at the cruiserweight division. This is round number 2 of a scheduled 6-rounder, and Simon Patterson in the grey with blue piping. He's in against Costa Chandros, and in the opening round Barry Michael scores 10-9 for Simon Patterson. He was just a little more effective with his punching, a little more accurate with it, and certainly Costa Chandros is going to have to get in a little bit closer inside that jab and try and have an impact, and that's what he's doing here in the early stages of round number 2.
Yeah, he's been successful with some good shots at the start of this second round. He's getting up quicker, although good punches there by Patterson. Chandros needs to stay up close, get his head down on Patterson's chest and dig in there.
Lead right hand from Chandros there, just backing up Patterson as well. Hasn't hit him with anything solid as yet. We know he has good power, but at the moment he's just using his jab as a rangefinder. And it won't be long before Costa Chandros opens up, because he is a very aggressive fighter.
Already he's having more luck this round. I mean, he seems to be catching Patterson quite frequently at this stage of the second round. Patterson fighting off the ropes there.
This is the second of a 7-event program. 2 Australian titles. And a lot to look forward to. Stay with us here on Big Time Boxing. Suggestion of blood from the nose of Costa Chandros now. And Patterson just putting a little more stick on that jab as well. Now getting a little wild with his punches.
Yeah, this round's fairly even at this stage. Chandros putting on a lot more pressure, throwing more punches. Patterson, you know, firing back well.
Yes, there isn't any doubt that Chandros has thrown more punches in this round than Simon Patterson. He's been more accurate, Patterson. And the judges at ringside, Jim Bowl and Gus Mercurio and Dave Wignall, if they are going to decide this. Well, they're going to find this round at least very difficult to score as we move inside the last 60 seconds, round number 2. Both men have had their moments.
Patterson starting to score with some clean jabs there towards the end of the round, as he did in the first round. Yeah, nice jab again. Nice right hand, good rip too. Didn't seem to have a lot of force, but did land cleanly. Yeah, another jab. The left jab's a winner for him at this stage. Chondros is getting hit too much with it.
Final 30 seconds, round number 2 for these cruiserweights. The longer the round goes, the better Simon Patterson is looking, although as I speak, Chondros opens up and tries to pin him on the ropes. Just hasn't been able to nail Patterson with any great authority so far, and that's very unlike Chondros, and he walked into a shot on that occasion. Yeah, no, Patterson, you know, going well at this stage of the second again. Chondros throwing all sorts of shots, but a lot of them are missing. There's Simon Patterson, a likely looking prospect here at the end of round number 2.
Yep, another round 10-9 to Simon Patterson on my scorecard.
Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in Port Knox, please show your appreciation to our lovely ladies who round numbers as she goes around. Give her a round of applause.
Lose a bit of head movement. Get that head movement while you get the first one.
Murray Thomson telling Costa Chandros to move his head, which he did at the start of the round, but as the round progressed, he got caught more and more.
An entertaining effort here tonight has to work our first fight tonight. So when they come back out, make sure they know.
It just hasn't been the Costa Chandros that we've seen in the past. And looks like there's a nick there just on the outside of his right eye as well.
Hands up. Stop that head. Bring that right hand up.
Seconds out. Ladies and gentlemen, round 3.
Set to go, round number 3 for the cruiserweights. Costa Chandros is in the red trunks, and at the moment Simon Patterson in the grey with blue piping has had the better of it. Patterson has made good advantage of his height and reach advantage, and as you can see, Barry Michael has him winning the first 2 rounds 10-9. I see it likewise. And Chandros following instructions now with a bit more head movement, trying to force Simon Patterson to miss with that jab, because it's been a very effective weapon for him. And now Chandros getting a little more animated.
Some good punches there from Chandros, but you can see the experience of Patterson. He's pretty composed in there under pressure, under a lot of pressure. Oh, he's hurt Chandros. Beautiful left hook. He's got him in a lot of trouble.
Costa Chandros unloading here on Costa Chandros, and referee Jim Slatter with some trouble to get between them. He stopped the fight here. It's all over for Costa Chandros, and Simon Patterson makes a winning debut in the pro ranks.
I'll tell you what, I think that was a good stoppage. At first I thought it might have been a bit premature, but he's shot. He's really hurt. Very groggy and didn't recover. Jimmy Slatter stopped that fight well, John. Yeah, a quick turnaround there. I'd like to see that one in slow-mo.
Yes, Costa Chandros was just starting to get going there in round number 3. And then Simon Patterson, who didn't give us a lot of evidence of good power through the first 2 rounds, well, he buckled Chandros.
Just a pinpoint puncher, and that's what a pinpoint, puncher can do if he lands in the right spot at the right time, especially when Chandros undoubtedly didn't see the shot that put him out of business there. Patterson was boxing well, very composed, as I said, and had won the first 2 rounds, was under a fair bit of pressure, but at no time, here we go. Oh, it was a beautiful, beautiful right hand, a lovely right hand. And that was the end of Costa Chandros. Have a look. I mean, it was a good stoppage when you look at it. He didn't know where he was. Yeah, he was badly hurt.
Referee Jim Slatter waves it away straight away. It was a crunching right hand from Simon Patterson. What a debut.
Yep, very, very impressive debut there from Simon Patterson.
So Simon Patterson, an impressive winner here against Costa Chandros. Let's get the official announcement. Here is Mr. Terry Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 47 seconds into round 3. Referee Jim Slater has awarded the fight to Simon Patterson.
He's pretty happy about the result as well, Simon Patterson. And I'm sure he'll be moving up the cruiserweight rankings
pretty quickly.
Yes, indeed, on that performance. The Australian cruiserweight title will be decided here tonight. A little later, Paul Murdoch and Daniel Rousseau will be going at it. And as you can see, a big crowd in attendance here from Fort Knox. The cruiserweight rankings at the moment. Well, Tosca Petridis has just been taken out at number 1 because we understand that he has retired. Adam Watt has relinquished the title and is in at number 1. Paul Briggs is number 2, and he's going to be fighting for the light heavyweight title a little later this evening. And Daniel Rousell at number 3 and Paul Murdoch at number 4 are the 2 that will battle for the cruiserweight title a little later. We have a lot to look forward to. Next up, it's going to be Rain Mako against Holly Fernley. The women will go at it at the welterweight division. And then Karim Nasher, a current Australian champion, Julian Holland, current Australian champion, Paul Murdoch and Daniel Rousell, as I mentioned, our feature event. Adrian Bellin against Paul Briggs for the Australian light heavyweight title when we return with more right after this.